Right now at 5:30, we are looking into the behavior known as ghosting. This is when someone chooses to end a relationship and then quietly disappears with no explanation whatsoever. They're just gone. A study at Wesleyan University found this is something that's happening more frequently these days, and it negatively impacts not just one, but apparently both people involved. Joining us live this afternoon is Dr. Royette Dubar, the assistant professor of psychology at Wesleyan. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
So it's interesting. So I understand, obviously, how ghosting can impact one person, particularly the one who, who's left behind. How does it impact the other person?
Yeah, so in our study, we found that the biggest impact for the ghoster, who was the person doing the ghosting, was actually feelings of anxiety and awkwardness. So in our sample of about 76 emerging adults, participants described situations where the ghoster felt like they didn't have the proper communication skills and confidence to have those tough conversations about why the relationship was going to be terminated.
So it's almost easier for them to just be like, I'm out of here. Let me just block them or whatever the case may be.
Exactly. Because of that anxiety and feelings of awkwardness, they felt it was just easier just to not say anything.
It's interesting. We were talking here in the studio, this phrase ghosting kind of came to be over the past several years. Obviously, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, with the internet and things like that, because it's very easy for people to just disappear, right?
Exactly. The prevalence of social media has definitely facilitated the opportunity for individuals to ghost other people and to be ghosted, and also because of the surveillance features. So being able to see when last someone was online gives you more of an insight into whether the individual actually saw your message and decided not to respond.
What should parents know? Obviously, the school year is going to start again soon, and I think this is probably something that, kids do to each other. Any kind of advice for parents when it comes to young adults or their kids at home?
Sure. So for the parents of emerging adults, I think it's important to understand that there are real psychological consequences for the person who is being ghosted. So in our study, participants reported overwhelmingly feelings of low self-worth, lots of reports of self-criticism, and not having that closure. So not having that reason why that relationship ended can really affect participants' opportunities in terms of how they approach future relationships.
And you use the word relationships, but correct me if I'm wrong here, it could just be friends, right? Like you could have two friends in school and one of them, just ghosts the other one, right?
Definitely. So in our study, we found that although ghosting was more common among casual dating type relationships, participants also reported having experiences of ghosting with friends, with coworkers, and even family members as well.
It'd be tricky to ghost a coworker, I think. It would make it a little awkward around the office. Before I let you go, is there one thing that sticks out that really surprised you about the results of the study?
Yeah, I think for me, what was most surprising was the fact that our participants reported being on both sides of the coin, on both sides of the equation. And so they talked about experiencing hurt feelings when someone ghosted them, but also were very open about situations where they ghosted other people. And in that particular context, the most common reason was just a lack of interest in pursuing the relationship further.
All right, is there a place where people can go right now to read more about this study?
Sure. Our paper was published in the Journal of Psychology and Popular Media.
All right. Dr. Royette Dubar, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
We're not going to ghost you. We're going to say goodbye and thank you.
I appreciate it. Take care. Be well.
You too.